the most important things are very, very hard to assess. So have you developed a critical mindset? Have you developed a growth mindset? Have you developed empathy? Have you developed an idea of responsibility to the environment around you? It's very, very hard to assess these things. So if I say, as a teacher, I want to take you there, how do I know that, that change has really happened? And that for me is probably the biggest challenge, in terms of learning technologies.
Great. We move to the last one, okay?
Yeah.
Is your coffee still hot or?
It's okay, yeah.
It's okay, okay. What is about learning resources? So what does the future of learning resources look like in the context of open knowledge and new models of educational publishing?
Mm-hmm. So it's interesting, we see, you can actually find a lot of open educational resources around the web, especially in places where nobody calls them open educational resources, right? So if I want to find a video that explains something, or a text that explains something, or something that would say I would use to start a debate, I don't need to go through OER repositories. I just Google it and I find, whether it's commercial pieces, or whether it's media pieces, or whether it's websites that people build on their own, not necessarily for educational purposes. So one thing we need to do is, again, acknowledge that hybridity, that there's a world of open resources. Some of them are clearly marked and licensed in a way that I can use them freely, some of them not so, and that gets a bit more tricky. But we need to be able, first of all, to integrate them into the learning, or the learning and teaching system that we build. And then we need to think, well, if all that stuff is already out there, then what's there for me to do? Why should I, as an educational institution, invest in producing and publishing content when there's so much high quality content out there? Now it might be, for instance, in my case, I work in Israel. Most of the content that I can look at is in English. I might want to do something that's local, so either local language or refers to a local context. It might be that what I want to develop is driven by a very specific education design, where I say, well, look, I've looked for it and there's no resource that addresses exactly this, so I produce something. Or it might be something that's product of my work and I want to put it out in the open. And yes, if it's out in the open, then I will use it in my teaching, but it's also out there for anyone to use in any way they like. So like this video that you're recording, I know that you want to use it for your course, but it will be out there in the open, hopefully, searchable and findable through Google, and people might use it on just chatting with friends on social media, or they might use it for courses they build in other universities.